Imagine being locked inside a hospital, not because you committed a crime, but because your family thought you were too emotional. Now imagine never being allowed to leave. No trial, no lawyer, no voice. Behind the massive stone walls of America's first mental hospitals, thousands of men, women, and even children disappeared into a world filled with isolation, terrifying medical experiments, physical restraints, and treatments that often caused more suffering than healing. Some patients weren't mentally ill at all. Some were simply poor. Some were grieving. And some were women who refused to obey society's expectations. What happened inside these institutions remained hidden from the public for decades. Today, we're opening those doors.
In the early 1800s, mental illness was poorly understood. Many Americans believed people with psychiatric disorders were possessed, cursed, or morally corrupt. Those who struggled with mental health were often locked in jails, chained in basements, or left to survive on the streets. Reformers argued that these people deserved compassion rather than punishment. This movement led to the creation of America's first state-run mental hospitals, known as insane asylums. The goal sounded noble. Patients would receive fresh air, healthy food, meaningful work, and humane treatment. For a brief period, some hospitals genuinely tried to help. But as the number of patients exploded, those ideals slowly collapsed.
Within only a few decades, many hospitals became dangerously overcrowded. Facilities designed for a few hundred patients were suddenly housing thousands. Doctors were overwhelmed. Staff members were exhausted. Funding disappeared. Patients spent entire days confined inside locked wards. Many were restrained with leather straps or locked inside tiny isolation rooms. Silence became mandatory. Disobedience was punished. For countless patients, entering an asylum became a life sentence. Modern psychiatry didn't exist yet. Doctors experimented with treatments they genuinely believed might work, even when they caused unimaginable suffering. Patients endured ice-cold water baths, insulin shock therapy, electroconvulsive treatments in their earliest forms, heavy sedatives, physical restraints lasting for days. Perhaps the most infamous procedure of all was the lobotomy. Thousands of patients had parts of their brains permanently damaged in hopes of making them calmer. Many survived, but lost their personalities forever.
One of the most disturbing facts is that not every patient was mentally ill. Some women were institutionalized for challenging their husbands. Some suffered from postpartum depression. Others were grieving the loss of loved ones. People with epilepsy, autism, learning disabilities, or simply unusual behavior could all end up inside these institutions. Once admitted, proving you were sane became almost impossible. Everything changed when brave journalists began investigating the hidden world inside these hospitals. One reporter famously pretended to be mentally ill just to gain admission. What she witnessed shocked the nation. Patients were neglected,
Food was contaminated. Violence from staff was common. Medical care was almost non-existent. Her investigation sparked public outrage and forced governments to confront the horrifying conditions hidden behind asylum walls.
America's first mental hospitals began with hope. Their founders believed compassion could replace cruelty. But overcrowding, fear, lack of science, and unchecked power transformed many of them into places of unimaginable suffering. Thankfully, mental health care has changed dramatically over the past century. Yet these forgotten institutions remain a chilling reminder of what can happen when society misunderstands mental illness and allows vulnerable people to disappear behind closed doors. If you enjoyed learning about history's darkest secrets, make sure to subscribe, because the next story is even more unbelievable than this one.